This question is from Eager in East Lansing. I love the alliteration. Eager in East Lansing writes in to say, I am buying a commercial/retail building for expanding my business. The price is $575,000. And the deal is between myself and the owner. The funny thing is that his name does not show up on the title work. Another person shows up as being the owner. So when I asked the seller owner how this could be, he said that individual had an option to purchase, but it was never consummated. If that is even the right word to use, consummated, what do I do? And can I still buy this property? From Eager in East Lansing. Using very risque language.
Yeah, Eager, right. Eager, you need to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
There were a lot of red flags there from that question, but here's, in a nutshell, you can't close this transaction just yet. Regardless of what the seller says, the current seller owner, right? If they say, whatever they say, that seller's name is not on the title work, okay? And if it's a title, title search, good for you to get title work, right?
Yes.
The title search in the abstract shows somebody else's name on it. To me, it sounds like somebody performed under an option to purchase, because how could this other party be on title now, right? And you can't, unfortunately, this is an interesting one, you just can't take your seller's word for it. And the seller is the one who has to figure out how to get his name back on title. And the way you do that is he would have to, with the title company's help most likely, reach out, find that individual who allegedly had the option, clear up this title, because I don't know how then did this other party get on title? Did you give him a deed, but he didn't perform? Well, that's got to get resolved. Did you give a deed too soon? Like, did you not have an attorney? Because I see that a lot. People do these deals and hand over the deed when they shouldn't have, right? And then all of a sudden somebody's on title but never performed under the contract. As far as I'm concerned, the true seller at this point, if somebody wants to sell, is that person on title. This lady needs to purchase from the person who's on title. Unless somebody can prove otherwise, that is the owner. Don't give this other individual any money.
Okay.
And let them do I call it the heavy lifting. Let them go prove. It's not your job,
Right.
But it does happen, all too often, that people will put their hand out and say, hey, yeah, give me the money, give me the cash. It's me. Whatever the explanation, it's not good enough.
Wow. Yeah, no, that is definitely something. I know people, it's quite a big deal too. I mean, we're in the Metro Detroit area, just for context to those who are listening. So elsewhere in the US, I understand that $575,000 isn't that much, might be the cost of your just personal house or whatever, but here in Metro Detroit, $575K is a decent deal. So that is a decent chunk of money there. So don't get too emotional. Eager in East Lansing, the eagerness in your name. Don't, you know what I mean? Definitely don't be so eager that that
your judgment gets clouded.
Yeah. Right, your judgment is clouded. No, and I've absolutely been there. I've definitely been overly eager with certain things, and your judgment is clouded. So, but no, your point is definitely spot on. If someone else is on title, well, then there you go, and then have them figure it out. And I like that. I like that piece of advice. Don't feel like it's your job to clean up someone else's issue just because you want this property so bad. It's not really your issue, and there's lots of other properties with probably out any sort of issue on title. So,
well, just
something else.
Right, and to be clear, Blair, and I know you see it quite often because you're a real estate investor who's very active. Within a purchase offer, there is usually a provision that deals with the seller having to go and correct a title issue or clouded title issue. Any type of title defect is the seller's responsibility customarily, and not the buyer. And when I hear stuff like this, like, oh, there's an option out there, etc. You know, there is so much fraud lately.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not lately. There's always going to be fraud,
Sure.
real estate fraud, and there is so much money chasing after, you know, a more diminishing inventory, and so people feel compelled to overlook or to just, you know, ignore red flags where normally they should, but they're
Mm-hmm.
so, lack of a better word, eager to get a deal, and so they need to stop. And if it's the seller is legitimate, they'll do the work and get, you know, they'll explain it. They'll be able to show you the document. Okay, you have an option to purchase or whatever it was out there. Go give me a copy of the document.
Right.
Right. Give me the
Mhm.
name of the seller. I mean, the buyer. But the thing is like a good transaction is a buyer and seller both in good faith working to get a transaction closed.
Yep.
But I do see it where people feel like they have to do all the heavy lifting, and in the end, they get nothing.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing I was gonna add. So another good question. It seems like, you know, people are writing in good questions these days. Okay.
Yeah, this is a very good question. Well, thank
Good
you.
for us. I mean, it's sad for them. How about that? I
Yes,
mean, I'd
right.
rather not have these issues, but that's what it's all about.
Yep. It is what it is, and that's what you're here for, right?
Yep.
All right.